Well, good to see you again, Richard. Last time I interviewed you was almost 6 years ago, and a lot of changes in NLP field, I feel it. And especially in Brazil, there is a lot of people that usually think that someone else's are gonna do this stuff for them. They're waiting for the politics to do something. They're waiting for the God to do something for them. They're just waiting. And there's a small field of people, a group of people, they are changing that. And they are looking to do changes from themselves. They are looking for behaviors, new behaviors. And what NLP can do to those that already are in the pathway to change?
Well, if you're waiting for politics to do things for you, settle down, it's going to take forever. The best way to make changes is to understand the simple process. If you change the way you think, it changes the way you feel, and therefore it changes what you can do. I've been developing behavioral technologies for 45 years. Some of the ones I developed I don't use anymore because I found better ways of doing it. That's called progress. And I recommend that you pay attention to what's current, you study with people like yourself that know what's going on and come back constantly to learn new things. Remember, there's a simple thing in the field of NLP. There's lots of people stuck at levels of my development. I'm not one of them, and you shouldn't be either. When you come for training, come to somebody who's certified and keeps their certification up to date. It's not like getting a teacher recertification where it's just something, it's a machine that goes on and they're not really giving people new skills. NLP is a new field and new skills are being developed all the time. And when you get those skills, changing yourself personally, changing your beliefs, changing the way you live, all of that stuff becomes much easier. It's a great technology for that.
Thank you. And I noticed that there is a lot of new Brazilians coming to do the training. And how you know which are gonna make it in the future, like have a good career as a trainer, and the ones that are not? What behaviors do you think the NLP trainers should be doing to be very good trainers?
Well, to be a very good trainer, you have to have a very strong belief in people and understand enough about neurology to understand how the brain works. And some people just study NLP and they don't study anything about neurology. They don't understand anything about our nervous system and how the brain actually works. NLP is a behavioral technology. Neurology is the scientific part of it. And constantly they're developing new things in neurology, new machines, new devices to measure things about the brain. And we use all that information to update our field so that we have applications. And when people say things to me like, I'm not interested in science, or how does this fit with psychology? It's always an indication to me it's going to be harder for them. But again, I don't give up on them. It's not impossible. That if you don't have a pretty good sense of humor and you can't laugh at yourself, you're probably not going to be a great neuro-linguistic programmer because we're constantly updating our things. Somebody came to me and said, why aren't you teaching reframing? And I said, because I made it up and I don't think it's useful anymore. It's too anthropomorphic. And by the way, it was designed to trick psychotherapists into doing hypnosis. We don't really need to do that anymore. That was a big problem 40 years ago. It's not now. And now we have quicker, faster, better ways of doing things. We don't hold on to ideas as if ideas are precious. We hold on to ideals because they're precious. And the one is the faster we can get people to learn new things, the smarter they'll be, the smarter we'll be.
Good, yes, great explanation. And there is a lot of coaches coming to learn NLP. What think you NLP field can add to the coaching process?
Well, that's a bit of a misnomer because there were neuro-linguistic programmers before there were all these coaches. I don't know where they're all coming from, but everybody's certifying them. The question is, you can become a coach. Well, that's just a name. You really only need a printer for that. Hell, you could become a neuro-linguistic programmer. You can print yourself up a certificate, but it doesn't mean you'll have skills. We offer people who do coaching, people that do counseling, people that do work in corporations, sales trainers, everybody behavioral technologies that they can use to increase people's motivation, to help them to make better decisions, to help them to become more charismatic, to be able to have a technique to change people out of fears, and how to get rid of bad memories specifically, and all of these things that I've gone through over the years to develop very specific technology that matches our neurology so that we can make changes that stay with us for the rest of our lives. And so a lot of the people that became coaches took a little bit of NLP and, and a little bit of counseling skills and called themselves a coach. I don't care whether you call yourself a counselor, a coach, or a Glock. It doesn't matter to me what you call yourself. When you're in the room with people, you're either going to be able to help them or not. And my policy is anywhere I can get any resource that makes me better, I'm going to take it. Everybody said don't learn hypnosis. It's bad and it doesn't exist, which is kind of contradiction if you think about it.
Yeah, and I've been here in your trainings for the last 12 years almost. And every time I saw you, it amazed me because you evolve, you change, I look for things that I never saw before. What's your strategy to become so good and evolve so fast?
Well, my concentration is on changing and finding faster, better ways to do things. A lot of people created things and they have a big theory to defend. And I look at theories as a set of weights to carry around. I have nothing to defend, I have nothing to be right about. Things either work or they don't work. And the ability to evolve and change even the nuance of something like your voice tone is not something that ever ends. Your understanding syntax never really ends. It's not something you get and then you've got it. It's more like an art form. B.B. King got better playing guitar his entire life. And the instrument I use is my voice and my body and my facial expressions and a whole list of things that I know how to do. I want that list to keep improving.
I'm gonna use that from now on. And that was the last question. Thank you very much.
That was the last question.
The last question.
Anyway, I also want to recommend this gentleman as one of the trainers that I think will train you exquisitely. I've had lots of his students over the past 12 years come to my seminars after training with him, and they have learned a lot. That's not always the case, but it is the case this time.
Thank you very much, Richard.
You bet.